Like other businesses, daycares were hit very hard by the pandemic. A lack of staff has some with, get this, a year-long or more waiting list. Channel 8's Alexa Skaneski joins us live in the studio with the details. Alexa?
Yeah, that's right, Rod. They're calling it a child care crisis. Businesses across the country are struggling to hire employees, and that is exactly what we're seeing right here in Lincoln.
Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Bubbles and Blocks Child Development Centers in Lincoln are struggling to hire employees. They say since the end of summer, they're having a hard time keeping up.
I'm in classrooms open to close a lot of days. My wife, both my parents who are retired. My mom lives in Missouri. She drives up and stays a couple days with us sometimes whenever people need days off, and works as well. So kind of all hands on deck right now.
Corey says the staff is worn out and working extra hours to make sure every classroom is taken care of. They're down about 25% of their help than in other years. Bubbles and Blocks is actually mandated by the state. Based on how many kids they have to keep a certain amount of staff members, which makes the shortage even more tricky.
Unless we are aggressively looking for staff, we get no applications. So we have been handing out flyers on campuses here in town. We advertise on a couple different radio stations.
And a lack in staff has now created a wait for families. Bubbles and Blocks has a wait list at all 3 of their locations in Lincoln, but it's not necessarily because they're full.
We have openings at all 3 locations, but you know, you can't in good conscience sign up a new kid when your teachers are working 50 hours a week, they're getting burnt out, and that one more kid's gonna make them have to stay a couple extra hours each day. So if we could just hire, we could fill those spots and help families out.
If you get added to their 3-page waiting list right now, Bubbles and Blocks says they could get your child in daycare around August of 2022.
Because if no kids left and we hired no new people, that's when we lose a bunch of pre-K kids going off to kindergarten. So it does create an influx of openings. But you would want to be calling now trying to get that spot for 2022.
Federal grants were even given out recently that the center will be able to benefit from. They say it will help moving forward with hiring and advertising, but still will not solve all their problems. Unfortunately, this is affecting a lot of child care centers than just this one.
Some daycare centers, child care centers here in town, I've actually heard of shut down an entire classroom because they just didn't have the staff for it.
Now, starting this month, Bubbles and Blocks had to increase their rates a little bit because every current staff member got a raise. Now, if you're looking for a job, you can apply on their website. We have that on our info on our website, klkntv.com.
Yeah, and Alexa, quick question here. You mentioned Bubbles and Blocks. They're not alone. You've talked to a lot of other daycares. They're going through the same thing?
Yeah, that's right. Over the last month, I've talked to several child daycare centers around here, and everyone is in the same boat. A lack of staff, forcing them at times to limit how many kids they can have. Some have even told their customers they're closing for the rest of the month to focus on hiring and training.
All right, Alexa, thank you for looking into that for us. I know a lot of parents out there affected.